The Blue Eyes Primite deck has actually been going through an evolution. Make sure you guys smash the like and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Welcome back to your Next Play weekly breakdown out here. And this week, where's the Malice at? You know, coming out of the last week, well, I didn't actually get to upload last week's, but we had a pretty major Malice contention. But this week, Rizol appears to be back in what I would normally consider the lead out here. But we have a challenger right up behind it, and it's actually the White Forest deck. Now, I know a lot of people have not had a lot of time to kind of process and see how the White Forest deck has been evolving in the OCG, but I assure you that this variant has turned into definitely one of the more interesting combo piles that we've seen. You know, since you actually have in-house synergy now with the deception to be able to use it, they actually cut off the Sinful Spoil stuff on our side of the game, but that doesn't mean that you can't intentionally play it with the White Forest stuff, which was their design philosophy that they were trying to do in the first place. Now, we have Momento coming up kind of right behind this, actually. I'm not surprised to see Momento gaining this popularity. We've seen that since Shifter's kind of gone to sleep in the OCG because, you know, with more Malice players kind of taking off than ever before, you don't want to Shifter that deck, all right? The experience has told us that if you Shifter a Malice player, well, everything's just going to turn on for that deck and you're going to have 9,000 more problems than you initially want to have. So, considering the fact that Momento just kind of gets to play scot-free out here in the OCG, has definitely been putting it into the spotlight out here as a very, very strong contender. Now, we also had two Malice out here. Malice is not totally gone from this event, which is very, very important to be recognizing out here. And, of course, we also have two Gem Knight duelists. We actually saw fairly recently out of the OCG that Gem Knight FT, or well, it's not even Gem Knight FTK, it's Block Dragon has helped this deck set up some of these very scary boards. All right, and I guess Recurable Boss Monster, you literally can stick two Gem Knights on the field, go Gallant Granite and resolve the search, and suddenly you've got your Boss Monster. Yeah, no crap as to why that is so good. That's just one of those situations that a deck is doing too much, and if you're able to go through and set up all of that power, like, man, that's so incredibly broken. Now, we also have a hero duelist in here. We have a Blue Eyes, Fallen of Albaz, a TG deck, which is very, very interesting. Snake Eyes, oh, sure. We also have Black Wings, and we also had a Jirac duelist out here. I have been enjoying seeing how the OCG's been trying to make these Jirac decks work out here. Obviously, Miscellaneous and Tyranno Infinity have been some very, very strong little pieces to making that look. Yeah, who would have guessed? 3 Miscellaneous Sarasaurus would be that groundwork to do well. Now, your top cut. You notice anything really interesting about this? If you played Malice in this event, you automatically topped. Both of our Malice duelists crawled up through the brink of destruction down here and found themselves sitting at the top cut. I love when we can see conversion ratios like that. It just proves, man, if you were playing the deck, you were good to go. We do have our Blue Eyes duelist here, which was actually the main reason why I was choosing to make this video today. Blue Eyes undergoing some very, very scary evolutionary lines out here. We also had one White Forest build crawling up out here. You do see that we had one Rizol deck making its way into the top cut. Rank 4 Turbo, kind of having some issues in the OCG fairly recently, not for bad reasons whatsoever. It's just one of those things you kind of look at and like, the deck just has some issues some days. We also have the power of Momento still here. Like I said, you know, if Shifter's not running around, this deck's doing fine. Gem Knights, I still have a fact that Gem Knights was the deck. That was the one that crawled through out here and managed to get the power up. And we also had Fallen of Albaz showing up out here. Albaz, now that's something that I didn't initially expect to see out here through these top cuts. You know, you have a lot of cool ideas being had for sure, but I definitely did not expect to see that one. So overall, your top cut looks pretty diverse, actually. It's pretty refreshing to actually see all of these duelists kind of coming together out here and actually, you know, challenging the meta. Let's pass on over to deck list. For Blue Eyes Evolution, oh man, this is so cool. So the evolution is actually, this deck is adapting towards Redox now. This has kind of been a new development fairly recently. I guess having Redox be able to kind of navigate around, pitch, you know, some of the extra bad Earth stuff that you might have, like maybe you have a dead Maxi, or, you know, maybe you need to revive a piece in order to kind of combo. You can now do that a lot easier, and I actually didn't think about that showing up, but it's been a one of. Of course, this build now playing 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons. This is not all that different from what I was kind of messing around with on our side. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the playtesting videos we've already done with Blue Eyes. The deck is a lot of fun, all right? And I know, like, yeah, this might not be considered Blue Eyes, but that doesn't matter. You're still playing all the Blue Eyes pieces, all the engine, you know, you're going through all the Spirit Dragon plays. This deck is actually really, really strong for what it is. And it's also interesting that they've cut the Stardust Cypher Dragon, to say the least. All right, Memento and friends. I see we've managed to shave this down to a nice, acceptable 40 cards. We have droplets built into the main deck to kind of board break and clear the opponent, which is not necessarily too bad. I see we're doing the Selene Access Code Talker lines, which a lot of our builds are already adapting towards. And of course, hey, putting Appaloosa on the field feels pretty gosh darn good. Also keep in mind, this board is, or this deck is playing Exceed Encores down here. You know, it's actually really funny to me to see that, you know, and no matter how we shift around out here, still seeing something like Exceed Encore being one of these broken cards that you can play to kind of counteract the meta is absolutely beautiful. And of course, I see we're still doing Azalea for extra board breaking options as well. Yeah, there's not also only 1 sheeple, no goblin cages. Huh. I see that this build actually kind of took a step back from some of the already, you know, established things. Okay. Next up is our White Forest Azamina deck. Now, this is going to be the kind of new gold standard out here. You still are going to use the Fiendsmith package out here, even with Engraver and Lacrima limited in the capacity that it is out here. This pile is still very good. So you use the Deception to set up the Risalago and the Silvera to have the Omni, and then you proceed to go down the Synchro boards to kind of punish your opponent. And of course, this deck does get access to Rexstrom Tremende, which is a stupid card in and itself. You also do see we have more Exceed Encores down here as well. You want to keep that pressure on your opponent, so, you know, we don't have to worry about our dear old friends, the very, very unfun big Dynamax punch your opponent in the face guy. Yeah, I know. This build definitely, just looking at this on paper, this doesn't feel very complete to me. I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know all the White Forest iterations of combo with this, but I don't know. It's so weird. Block Dragon Turbo. So this was, this is pretty much everything you expected Gem Knights to be out here. The way that this deck works is, you know, you get 2 level 4s on the field, you turbo into the Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite resolves, probably scot-free because your opponent's not going to do anything about it. And then you're able to resolve, get the Block Dragon, and this deck is able just to go off insanely crazy. This is one of those key differences between our ban list and the OCG, because Block Dragon just makes all that difference out here. Also, you're only playing 1 Gem Knight Fusion in this build, which is kind of crazy that you only need 1 Gem Knight Fusion. There's nothing in the game right now that can get rid of the Gem Knight Fusion from your graveyard, except for, you know, actually, the OCG doesn't even play Birth. That's mainly a TCG thing. So you're pretty much free to do whatever you want with this sort of stuff. But yeah, this build just tears through, sets up a very big Gem Knight board, and your opponent just gets overpowered by it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, that is how this deck chooses to play. And there's one more list that caught my eye that was posted for next play this week, and it was the Crystron deck. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This Synchro Turbo pile, I really don't know all of the combos. I mean, obviously, our Rorodon plays are pretty strong. I also see we're playing a Makaba down here. Well, holy crap, can we actually make that Makaba? Maybe I don't know my my combo iteration lines all that much, but I guess that's interesting. I see we are doing the Scythe Lock, Sanctum plays down in the side deck, but as far as the way that this deck works, I'm curious to know if this is going to have any sort of bearing in the TCG. You know, we don't have Baron or those extra little key synchro plays that a deck like this, I think, needs, but we will have to wait and see, you know, how that goes. But that is your next play breakdown for the week. Blue Eyes actually moving up in the ladder, which is actually kind of crazy to see. You know, once the TCG gets Primite Blue Eyes, I think it's going to be a completely different story, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, people, we'll have to see if they really like it. So please leave a comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.